This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Always good to be joined with my friend Wiley. Bro, it's been a minute, but we're back on Zoom catching up. How's things, my man?
All good, my brother, man. How are you? You good?
Yeah, all good. Always good to be speaking to you, a real pioneer in the British music scene. How's things? Are you enjoying yourself at the minute? I've seen that you've been active on Instagram. I know you got some music in the works. You're in a good
Yeah,
place.
I am in a good place, man. I'm just working. I've got like a mixtape I'm gonna drop September the 20th, sorry, and then October the 22nd. I'm gonna drop an album and just getting back to work and also like looking for new artists as well who, they're young ones who are getting into it, trying to help them get to where they want to go. So I'm happy, man. I think as you get older, you just start to accept your roles at the different stages. So like in your 20s, you'll be doing that. In your 30s, you'll be, working towards your 40s, in which case you will be, you become your own boss, I guess. And then, you would have learned the business for those 20 years. And then you start to work with that you obviously always work with the youth,
Mm.
but learning the business, I think, was a good thing.
Well, let's sort of go into that just quickly before we jump into the boxing talk. You say you've got this new project working on. Are you going to still be sort of devoting as much time as you sort of always have into music, or now when you talk about sort of looking at upcoming talent and stuff like that, feel like maybe now with all you know about the industry that you sort of
Yeah.
could be best used there?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Because before, I guess it was just always me concentrating on Wiley
Yeah,
and yeah, or the crew, whether it was Roll Deep or it was Boy Better Know, or and then like I said, as you get older, like you can take the pressure off yourself because you've had your go, innit? Like, you've had your go, you've been in the charts, been in the underground, overground. And I guess what the good thing to do is use what you've learned to help others. That's the main thing for me. So that all the pressure's not wily, like if I'm running low and then I'm like, right, got to do another album, got to do another, now you will do it because the time's right. Like I don't have to, because before I was just like dropping music every year. I never had a break. You know what I mean? Just constantly. I think now I've had a bit of a break and I don't put all the pressure on me. There's loads of other people who love music. So helping them and doing good business still will get me paid. I don't just have to rely on myself. You know what I mean?
well, good on you. We look forward in seeing that. You've been
Yeah.
watching boxing. You're always
Yeah. Yeah.
texting me, keeping updated with it all.
Yeah.
Just sort of like an overall sort of thing. Happy with the way the sport is this year. It seems like all the biggest fights that we wanted have happened. Spence Crawford, Tank Garcia. We know that sort
Yeah.
of Joshua White fallout happened, but Smith-Eubank again this weekend.
Yeah.
Usyk-Dubois last weekend. It's been quite an exciting year so far.
It has. It has. I've watched all the fights. I reckon do you know what? Someone asked me the other day, like, do I watch Misfits? That's they did. And you know what it is? Like, even if I watched it or not, I don't watch it like religiously, but I've seen one or two. But even for me, like I know how to kind of separate like real boxing
Yeah, yeah,
from yeah. And even when, like even on the YouTube boxing, when you get people who are actually taken seriously and then they progress and then they start to come kind of like borderline like not real boxing, but you know what I mean. Like if they say Jake Paul or
yeah, yeah,
people like
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. So I know how to like separate them. I know like I'm watching real boxing, and I know if I've seen a clip or a bit of a Misfits, right? But I think because I see like before some people had quite a problem with it and stuff. But I think sometimes if you want more eyes on it, like I feel like more eyes will actually surface from some of those little misfits. They're not my thing. I
I
get
agree
like
with
I
you.
prefer real boxing.
I
Yeah,
mean, you've only got to look at that. You see the press conference the other day between Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul,
yeah,
KSI, Tommy Fury, John Fury doing his antics. Um, whether we like it or not, it's, sort of progressing the sport. I think even if you just look at it at the most casual point possible,
yeah,
I think just in KSI and Tommy Fury fighting, I think you're going to get a whole new audience in itself then watching Tyson Fury box just through that.
yes.
The same way that sort of if you watch Tyson Fury, you may not watch this. So you know what, the numbers are there, and it's like the same with music. I imagine different bits come in, and it's not for everyone, but some of it's just there to stay. And maybe this sort of misfits thing is one of those.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So even though like I don't watch all the Misfits, but I understand about trying to bring new audience or
Yeah,
new
yeah.
eyes to the real thing. So yeah, man, all good, all good.
What did you make of that press conference? It was absolute carnage being there.
With
John
John
Fury had
Fury
a
and
table in
the
his hands.
cake. They brought a cake.
I
Oh my
know.
God. That is funny though. Do you know what is? I'm a John Fury fan,
I am.
right? But I could tell because he was listening to them going back and forth and this and that. In the end, he just thought, listen, mate, what's all this gibberish, mate? Let's just, you know what I mean? And then he flipped them tables over. And I could not stop laughing, honestly. I'm a John Fury fan, like without him flipping the tables. Like I like listening to his interviews and stuff. He loves his son,
Yeah.
unconditionally. His sons and like when I see him do that, I was just laughing. But then I see some people like, oh, it's scripted. But I don't think it was scripted, that
Well,
part.
I
I don't
promise
think
you,
that
it's not
part.
scripted. None of it's scripted.
You know
I
what I
wish
mean? I
I
just
wish
think.
it was because then I'd have a bit more of an idea as to what I was doing. But none of that is scripted. It's just manic on the day.
Oh, mate. But yeah, good. That bit was really funny. John Fury went nuts in that place, didn't he?
That's why we love him. Last weekend, Usyk-Dubois, we were just having a little chat about it off camera. I was saying that sort of originally I thought the shot was probably legal. I sort of slept on it, woke up, and people are still discussing it now, which is mad. Still the main talking point in boxing at the minute right now. Frank Warren's lodging an appeal within the next 48 hours, but my sort of gut feeling is it probably is borderline low. Think it's a harsh one, and it's just on the referee to call it in the moment. What do you make of it now you've watched it back a couple of times, bro?
I think Parsons that I think because everyone's talking about it and we've been going back and forth, we've seen the pictures, we've seen videos, even there was another fight the other day, Jared Anderson,
Mm,
he got away with about 15 of the same shots,
yeah, yeah,
right? So I think what we should do at this point is let's remove the fact that everyone's talking about it, we're talking about it, and let's go on to the next phase, like the next question. My next question to anybody who agrees that it was a low blow, and to the people who say that it was a legal shot, right? My next question, because so to move on, because we're going to be stuck there. Everyone's going to be
yeah.
talking about. There's
Facts,
going to be two sides, yeah,
facts,
for a minute, for days. My next thing would be: are there fighters who would have got away with throwing that shot where the referee would have seen the shot and just started a 10 count? Are there fighters who, so for instance, if Tyson Fury hit Dylan White with the same shot,
Mm.
would he got away with it?
What do
Not
you
just
think
them
about the
two.
other way around? What if Usyk hit Dubois with that shot?
I said that on Twitter. If Usyk hit Dubois with the same shot, I believe the ref would have started the 10 count and ruled it a knockdown. That's what I believe. And there's no like, I don't know, like they could say because of popularity, they was in Poland, there was a lot of people from the Ukraine there, there wasn't many British fans. You know, I always hear this thing. If you go in boxing, if you go to someone's backyard, you've got to beat them convincingly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've always heard that for years. Like even when Tyson Fury
Always.
went and Klitschko, right? So also when you are going to someone's backyard, you've got to actually have that in your mind. You know, like I don't just want to go to their backyard and then try to get the win. I actually want to win convincingly so that the
Rip
people
the
in the
belt off him.
backyard, yeah, the people in the backyard can't deny that I came there and I beat you. You know, no, you know, some might be by points, might be a knockout, but I just believe that certain people, because you know what it is with the shorts, right? I never noticed before. Tyson Fury pulls his shorts up over his belly quite high, right?
Mm.
He does. I've noticed him. He does it, right? And then some fighters might have it, you know, like are you supposed to have it like an inch above between the navel, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
above the navel,
yeah,
right? So some fighters might do it and they have it an inch above the navel. Some fighters pull up the shorts, right? And if they pull up the shorts to where I see Tyson Fury's shorts pulled up, covering his belly, and it's the same shot, it would be like it would hit him in the belly, right? I guess
yeah.
the protector, yeah, because the protector's like down there, right? So I think if that shot, I know that it's the naval thing, right? So it's not you can't say, oh, it never hit him in the balls. You can't say that because the rules are supposed to be like we know what the
Yeah,
rules
yeah,
are.
yeah.
So I just believe to get past like everyone saying yes and everyone saying no, I just believe that there are certain fighters, you know, and certain refs who would have said it is a legal shot. And again, you know, like imagine me and you are in that corner and our fighter gets the shot, we're gonna back our fighter.
Yeah.
If we're in the other corner, we
It's
might
funny you
say
say
no,
that.
no.
I saw
Yeah?
Ben Davison put out a tweet, and
What do you say?
it's the best tweet I've seen to sum it up. And it's like, if your team Dubois, the shot's legal, and if your team moves, the shot's illegal. And that is literally it, isn't it?
That is it, man. And it's no one's fault. Like, obviously, you know, they saying like Usyk made a bit of a meal of it. Obviously, the referee gave a little bit extra time, 3 minutes 40, and blah blah blah. But I just feel like some refs would have said it's legal, some might not, and you know, some fighters would have got away with a shot, and some fighters might not because if we're going to sit there and say, right, was it on the belt line? Was it above the navel? Was it below the navel? Was it in the balls? We're going to go around in circles, aren't we? And there's always going to be two sides of people who believe what they believe. You know, I watched Eddie Hearn and I thought Eddie Hearn and Frank would actually agree, Frank Warren. But even Eddie said, look, if I was, you know, if I was on that side, I'd be saying that. If I was on that side, I'd be. So I just believe that certain people would have got away with it, and obviously Daniel didn't. But I think it was a legal shot. But again, someone who's like knows more about boxing than me could have said, "Look, Wiley, man, you don't know, you da 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 da." So you know, that's why I moved to the next question of would some fighters have got away with that shot?
No,
Certain
that's a
refs
fair
would have,
point.
yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Do you think if the 10 count was called, that Usyk would have made it up?
I reckon know it right. If Usyk saw if he fell down and saw the ref start counting, he might have switched back on quick,
Mm.
right? If he was that hurt, then he would have stayed down. But if I was Usyk and I've gone down and the ref didn't start the 10 count, with my experience, I would use my experience. You know what? I'll milk it a bit. I'll have a little milk, right? But if I was Usyk and I saw the ref start counting,
You're
I'll
flying
be
up.
thinking, right, yeah, well, I'm hurt, but I ain't getting counted out, mate. I'm gonna get back up. So, you know, I think it's one of them, Parsons, to be honest. I do. It's a bit controversial, isn't it? But like
It's
again.
mad
What
because
did Ben say? What did
well,
Ben Davison say
he
again?
just said if your team, he said like so many people asking me if your team Dubois is legal and if you're a team
Yeah,
who's slow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Ben's kind of nailed it there, isn't he?
That's sort of my impression ever since reading that. Look, let me ask you this week. It's flying under the radar a little bit. Hopefully
Yeah.
it will start to pick up a bit more Wednesday fight week. We've got the media arrivals tomorrow and everything, but it is Liam Smith, Chris Eubank 2, the rematch. Liam
Yes.
Smith, emphatic the first time round. Never really seen Eubank hurt. Eubank this time has Bomac, who obviously was the was sorting out.
That's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
I saw someone question him about that because obviously he hasn't had him for a long time and that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for
go on, go on.
no, I mean that's sort of actually my first point. 4 weeks with
Yeah,
Mac. I spoke to Callus Allen the other day, and look,
yeah,
Eubank's never really been someone to take too much notice. He's always done it his way, but it's a proper man to have in your corner, right?
yeah. Obviously, Terence Crawford, they're gonna say that, ain't they? I've got Terence Crawford's trainer. But yeah, Bomac or no Bomac, I think when you go in that ring, Eubank Jr., you know that you've got to get the revenge anyway. You know what I mean? Like last time, I didn't think that that was going to happen so quick. Obviously, Liam Smith done his job. This time round, I don't think it's going to be the same as last time. I saw like loads of people say, it's going to be the same result. I think this time Eubank has to go in there with his head screwed on a bit. You know, like I think I can beat you at 60%, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we've got to drop all of that. You know, like I get it, it's confident talk, it could be seen as arrogance, but I don't think he's going to take that path this time. You have to go in there 100%, mate. You know what I mean? And I think Eubank might get the job done this time.
The Ben fight is always there.
Yeah.
Or I think the promoters seem to think it that way. Eddie, Frank, Calla. Do you still have the same interest in the Ben fight if Eubank loses again this time round?
I'll be honest, I didn't really want them to fight in the first place because I've watched their dads and stuff. But get with the program, Wiley. It's 2023 business, right? And I think the fight is kind of still there. I'm kind of feel like if Eubank loses on Saturday, is it Saturday?
Mm.
Yeah, if Eubank does loses on Saturday though, I'm not sure if it will have the same impact, but who knows? If it depends, maybe how he loses. Like if he loses but he doesn't get battered, then I guess the fight will still be there. But I guess they'll be waiting to see what happens Saturday. I heard that Conor Benn might be ringside. Would it be a thing that Conor Benn would fight the winner, or you think that it's just that he
Potentially.
would?
I mean, Liam Smith, this is his last fight with Boxer. Um,
Okay,
he's said that he's going to be exploring his options after this fight. I think Conor Benn, every time I speak to him, is in a position where, regardless of whatever happened and whatever you think of all that's happened, he literally has the biggest fights out there. He has Eubank win or lose. I think that's what both teams believe. You've got the Liam
yeah,
Smith right there. You've got Kell Brook, and then you look across the world. I
Yeah,
mean, there's some huge fights. They still talk about names like Pacquiao and stuff like that. There's a lot of fights out there in those sort of divisions and that crop.
yeah. If he gets to fight stateside, who do you reckon he'll fight if he gets one in stateside
I think it looks like
within the next few
I think
months?
his look. It looks like his next fight could be on September the 23rd in Orlando. But
Okay,
I don't think it would be a big fight. I think it would probably just be a 10 rounder against a lesser opponent, just to sort of shake off some ring rust.
okay. Okay, well then, you know what? Maybe what do you think that the Eubank and Ben fight is a bit more obviously the rivalry of the dads is a bit more likely to happen whether Eubank loses or not?
Yeah, I personally do.
Okay,
I think that
okay.
fight's always big, and then from speaking to the promoters, I seem to get that that's the impression from them. I also maybe think that transcending to a casual audience, they probably, and when I say casual, I mean real casual. I think they'll probably just look at the names and not really look at the recent resumes.
Okay. And also, is it kind of like a unfinished business type
Yeah,
of
I
thing?
think so. I think so. Connor says that, he at one point he was over the fight, but I think now he would definitely take it in a heartbeat. But then again, he put something out about coming for Kell Brook today, so
Okay. I seen him. He wanted the Kell Brook fight, didn't he? Anyway, he always wanted a. I've always heard him mention Kell Brook, but listen, I think Conor Benn is a good fighter, and to be honest, I think when he gets back on his path, which he's getting on there now, I think there's a lot of people who will beat anyway. I think he's got a lot of fire, isn't he? He's
mm,
like one of them. He's one of them fire in his belly. So yeah, I'd love to see him. I reckon he beats Kell Brook though.
let me
I
uh
reckon he beats.
let me move to the heavyweights.
Yeah, let's go.
Tyson Fury, he fights Ngannou at the end of October. What do you make of it all? There's a lot of money in it. We believe that both men are
There's a
plus
it's a
million.
money move, man. It's a money move.
Do you hate it or no?
Well, in business, Parsons, people tend to do what's best for them,
I feel that.
business wise, right?
Yeah.
So I understand what he's doing. I think sometimes, like if someone's come from the UFC and they're a big striker and stuff like that, I don't think that always translates in a boxing match.
Mm.
So I don't always think that like someone who's good in UFC can just always like step in a boxing ring and like test with the best. But saying that, Francis Ngannou can hit. He's
Mm.
a big lump and he can hit. And I guess in Francis Ngannou's head, he's thinking, listen, mate, if I catch him, he's going down. And in Fury's head, he's thinking, listen, he ain't gonna catch me.
Mm.
And I'm going to outbox him, and because obviously Francis hasn't had a boxing match, And I remember watching Mayweather and McGregor, and I was like proper watching McGregor's UFC fight. So when they made the matchup, I was like, right, he's got that left. He knows how to counter. He might get Mayweather, right? But then when I actually watched it, I realized that, you know, McGregor is good inside the octagon. Mayweather's good inside the boxing ring, and it's kind of like
Different
it's
sport
really
completely,
hard.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Different
it's really
gloves,
hard
different
for
like punching techniques, all sorts.
it's hard for a UFC person to step in a boxing ring, and they haven't got all they've got now is like the punching. They haven't got the gripping, the
Mm.
grappling, the kicking. So now it's hard for them to kind of like a boxing person is just boxing. They're not kicking. They're not.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it's hard. Yeah, I think it's hard for someone to kind of come from UFC into boxing, just the same way it would be for someone to go from boxing into UFC. You know what I mean?
No, I
So
agree.
yeah. So I reckon Fury's going to win, but I believe people on Francis Ngannou's side will be thinking he's a big lump. He can hit. If he catches him, he might go down. I guess that's what they're thinking, isn't it?
You
But
know,
money as
I
well,
was gonna
money.
say, yeah, when you're earning the money that they're earning and it's not gonna go on either of their pro records, I'm sure they'll have a bit of fun with it as well.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, good luck to him, mate. Get paid and take the money home, mate, to your
Does Fury
family.
have more of an incentive to fight Usyk after what happened on Saturday night?
100%. Do you know what? Before, I've always thought this anyway, right? I think Fury will beat Usyk. I think he's too big. I think
Mm.
he's too big. I said this before anyway. I think Fury beats Usyk. But again, like it's weird in boxing because styles make fights, and someone who's seen Usyk beat Joshua, they might think he can beat Fury or he can beat someone else. And then someone else might, like sometimes you think because he beat him, then he can beat him. And then Joshua might fight Fury and you don't know who's going to win. Like some people say Fury's going to win, but then Joshua might win. I think the matchups and the styles, they like the other day, no one thought that Daniel Dubois had a chance, did they?
Yeah, no one even expected him to put up a fight. I mean, Usyk dominated the fight, but the rounds were by no stretch were sort of they were constantly competitive. You never looked at that and sort of thought, Dubois was that out of his depth.
You know what I'm saying? So, and different ref, different situation.
Yep.
The shot might have been accepted, and then Usyk. But again, I do think if Usyk saw the 10 count, I reckon he would have jumped up, mate. It's only where the ref has come over and
Yeah,
said,
and
go on, take
definitely you
the
can have
time
more
you want.
time. Yeah.
100%.
Finally, from me, Joshua
Yeah,
Wilder, if it happens. Um,
yeah.
It's sort of like who lands first. I mean, you look at that power punch that he landed on Robert Helenius, but took a while to get it going and lots of single shots rather than sort of doubling up. But
Yeah.
sort of being branded as sort of whoever lands first that fight. Can Joshua keep away from that powerful right of Deontay Wilder? Who knows? Wilder's only boxed one round in 3 years, but with that being said, he may not need any more than one round, as he sometimes doesn't. What do you make of it?
I think that Joshua I think he's a better boxer than Wilder. I think he can beat Wilder. I guess when he's doing camp and he's doing the sparrings, he needs to get the fighters who to try and emulate Wilder with that throwing that wild right hand, and he needs to practice how to friggin' get out of the way of it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he needs some good head movement, because Wilder can catch anybody. He even caught Fury. Obviously, he done Helenius in one round, but I don't look at that as, oh, he done him in one round, so that means he can do him. Like, I don't really look at it
Yeah, it
that
don't
way.
work in triangles.
You know what I mean? But I've got faith in Joshua. I believe that Joshua is a better boxer than him. And if he can just practice staying out of the way of that right hand, I think he can do the job. I'm not going to lie.
Great for British boxing, right?
It is, man. Imagine that the other day if
Dubois,
Dubois did
and then it
win.
was Fury
Frank
Dubois.
Warren would have had all the heavyweight belts, wouldn't he? Or not Frank, but the promoter he would have been loving it. But you know what? He would have done straight away. He would have made that
Oh, no.
unification fight with Fury. He would have. He would have. That would have been the next fight, wouldn't it?
That is the game. Politics are around us constantly, I'm sure, with any industry.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wiley, always a pleasure, my brother. Thank you for speaking to us at Boxing Social. Just a final message, anything that you want to plug on your side?
Um, you know what I want to say? Like I said before, I've got a mixtape coming out September the 20th, and I've got an album coming out October the 22nd, and I'm back to work. Message to anyone who does music or you got young people up and coming doing music. Follow me on Instagram at Wiley Bosi. I'm here to help. I just want to see the youth get to where they want to go. So if anyone needs any help music-wise, just let me know. Please send me a message.
Well said, brother. We look forward to listening.